Hi, welcome to another episode of Look Ma No Hands. My name is Linda, and on my channel I like to talk about all my hobbies and goings on in my life. My hobbies include crochet and recently knitting, painting. I like to read lots of books and watch many different things on TV, streaming, and at the theaters. So this week what I'm wearing is not a crochet item, but it is kind of a memorable outfit for me. I wear this purple t-shirt quite often, but today I'm actually wearing it with the pants that I kind of bought it as like an outfit. The purpose of this outfit when I initially bought it like 7 years ago, which is kind of mind-boggling at the moment, but we were asked to appear on a dance program, and we were told that we couldn't have any like visible logos and like things like that on our outfits, so we had to go shopping for very specific things. Now my favorite color, as most of you know, is purple, so when I was out shopping and found this purple shirt and kind of like a plum purple, maybe not even plum, more like grape colored pants, leggings to go with it, I was like, okay, that's my outfit. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. The program that we were on was called Dance It Out. It was with Billy Blanks Jr., so that was a really fun experience. We went out to the East Coast, filmed the show in Connecticut, and then got to spend a hot 24 hours in New York City, which was so much fun. We talk about possibly someday going back to New York City and just experiencing more of the city, but yeah, it was super fun and a great memory. The project that I'm currently working on is my Circle to Square Granny Square blanket. I did some math to figure out like about how big I want the blanket to be, hopefully using up most, if not all, of the yarn that I have dedicated to this particular project. And it turns out I need almost 100 squares, 99 squares, because I'm going to make it 11 squares by 9 squares. So yeah, I'll be squaring things up for a while. I have about 30 squares-ish finished, and then doing the math a little more, I'm hoping that I can make it that 99 square size, but the jury's still out on that because I'm just kind of going along with the 2 different colors of gray yarn that I have. Hopefully I'll be able to make 50 squares of the lighter gray, and then I'll need 49 of the darker gray, but who knows. I'm just gonna keep plugging along, and if I don't get 50 squares out of the lighter gray, then I will have to pivot and figure out new dimensions for my blanket project. So yeah, that's that. The books that I read this week are, or actually the last 2 weeks, The Friday Night Knitting Club by Kate Jacobs. I really liked this book. It's not a very recent book. It was published, I think, in 2015. I'll have to double check on that, but it's a good 10 years old, thereabouts. I really liked this book. It's not necessarily a book that's in my typical like wheelhouse of what I read. What I loved about the book was the like women uplifting each other and supporting each other, and just like working through all the trials and tribulations of what it means to be a woman. There's like the young teenage girl that is helping her mom run their yarn shop, and the mom is a single mom who is supported by a neighbor that encourages her to kind of pursue that passion of being a business owner and, you know, supporting herself and her daughter, and just, you know, that is like the crux of the story, is like the relationship between all of these women and how they really come together to support one another. At one point, the father of the young girl comes back into the story and wants to be a big part of their lives. And she's not really sure that she wants that to happen. She's like, you kind of just left me out here to fend for myself. Okay, yeah, you did send money, but like money only goes so far. Like I needed help, I needed support. She comes to find out some things of that situation that she misunderstood. There was definitely like a breakdown in communication between the couple and how all of that kind of unfolded. The guy kind of goes home to his parents and says, this is why I did this. And they're like, you're an idiot. Like, we never said that to you. Like, what would make you think that? And so then he kind of realizes like he lived most of his adult life trying to please his parents when they never really laid out like their expectations one way or the other. So that was an interesting part of the story. Yeah, I really liked all of the different elements of the story that came together to make just this really contemporary, like, believable storyline. Like, it could happen in, like, I was reading the story thinking, like, these could be my friends kind of thing. So, yeah, it was a very well written, I feel like kind of stands the test of time in terms of, like, the importance of uplifting one another. Like, I really liked that theme was pretty much throughout the entire story, of just like, we're all kind of running the same race, and if we can do things to help each other be successful in that race, like, why not? So, yeah. And then the second book that I read was A Husband Never Lies by James Caine. And this I would classify as kind of like a thriller, like mystery story, and lots of twists and turns in this one. Lots of gaslighting and just things that, as I was reading the novel, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like, what is going on in this relationship? Like, who is the bad guy? Like, where are things going wrong? Like, who is doing all of the kind of subverting and making her think that she's crazy, and like making her second guess herself, and just there was so much in the story of like how people can manipulate one another, how people can manipulate a situation to make one person question their own sanity, question their own knowledge, question themselves. Just like, it was kind of mind-boggling to think that like people do stuff like this to each other all the time. It does kind of have sort of a happy ending for the main character. So yeah, definitely just like twists and turns everywhere of like whether or not the husband is cheating, and there are like missing person stories. Like, she's starting to wonder, like, is her husband involved in the missing person stories? Like, she just doesn't know where things are headed, and how her husband kind of plays into all of this like mystery that's been happening kind of locally in the area, and she doesn't want to believe that he's involved in it. Yeah, I feel like this would make a really good like on-screen story. I'm not a big fan of like taking books and turning them into movies. I always feel like the book is so much better when I'm reading something or listening to a novel on an audio. Like, the movie that plays out in my mind is so much better than the movie that's on the screen. So yeah, but this one I think they could probably do a pretty good job of, with just kind of things that they might truncate to, you know, play for time and things like that. And yeah, it was just really good. And then the last book I read most recently is called Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. This was a really fun novel. It was a romance, and there were some sad parts here and there because the main character returns to her hometown because of her mother's progressing dementia and all of like the sadness that kind of comes around that. But then the way the author kind of handled the lived experience of having a loved one who is stricken with dementia was just done very well. Like, it really showed like the ebbs and flows of that experience, where like some days the mom was very lucid and like just seemed like her usual self, you know, the mom that we all remember. And then there were some days when she was very combative and very confused, and things just were not healthy and happy like the girl remembered. So those bits were a little bit difficult to kind of read through and think about, like, those are somebody's lived experiences. But the romance part of the story was really cool, and then there was a little bit of like a mystical element to it. For the romance part, our main character has a friend who is who's a performer in the music industry. Our main character is a songwriter, so her friend invites her to come listen to her perform, watch her perform in a concert, kind of gives her permission to go up to like a private like box seat. So she makes her way up to that box seat, and it's already occupied by someone else. And she was kind of like, oh, I didn't know somebody was already here. And he's like, oh, you want an autograph? And she was like, no, I came here because I was invited. And then her friend pans around the kiss cam and kind of puts them in a position where it's like, do we do this? Do we not do this? Like, what do you want? And so, as him being the gentleman that he was, kind of put the ball in her court, like, it's up to you. How do you want to handle this? And she's like, she won't leave us alone if we don't, so let's just do this. And the fact that he kind of asked her permission before he just leaned in for the kiss kind of endeared him to her, and she really felt that it was, you know, showed that he had a lot of respect for someone. He wasn't just gonna like violate her personal space and, you know, whatever. But that was like a one-off encounter, because then she ends up going back to her hometown. She's living in LA, has to go back to Outer Banks, North Carolina, and kind of help close down the family business, which is kind of like a honky-tonk like bar / like music venue. It's been something that's been part of the family business for a long time, so she's kind of sad to find out that her parents want to close it down. She feels kind of offended that her parents have not proposed that she take it over. They say they didn't want to burden her, but she's like, how could that be a burden? Like, it's the family business. Like, yeah. And as she's doing all of this, she starts hearing like a melody for a song, and like some distant lyrics that she just can't quite put her finger on. She's like, I keep hearing this song, like, where is this coming from? And then all of a sudden she starts hearing a voice, and the voice is like, who are you, and what are you, like, what's going on here? And she starts having like these inner dialogue type of things, like in her own mind she can hear his voice and he can hear her voice, and they start communicating back and forth like telepathically, which I thought was really cool. That would be so cool if like I could get into someone else's mind that deeply and like be able to talk with them without having to like pick up a phone, or like, although it would be kind of weird because they did kind of experience this where they would be having inner thoughts that the other person could hear, and they didn't have control over when the other person could hear what they were thinking. So that would be kind of challenging to like constantly have someone in my head or constantly be in someone else's head. Like, yeah, sometimes my head is pretty noisy. I don't know that I would necessarily want somebody to be able to hear all of my thoughts. But anyways, back to Sounds Like Love. The male lead character has a very like complicated past when it comes to like his parents and just his career and things like that, his father's expectations of him, and that plays a big part into the relationship between the two of them, the relationship that he then kind of develops with her family. Like, it's a very like long drawn out storyline that you're like, oh wow, that's like the connection like that is like unreal, like how could that be? But then again, it's just one of those things that sometimes you just never know. The world is a big place, but sometimes it can be a small world too. So they kind of work together on the song. The fact that they have like this telepathic connection, they both hear the song, they're both musically inclined individuals, and so they are like, okay, fine, it seems that for some reason we're meant to work on this song together, so let's do it. And then they kind of decide like, this might be easier to do if we were sitting down like face to face in the same room around like the piano, so maybe we should meet. And they make a decision kind of like spur of the moment to meet one another, and having no understanding of who the voice in their head was, get together for their little meeting and come to find out they knew each other. So that adds a new element to the story and kind of complicates things, but then they kind of back off. And yeah, again, this is just a really fun story to kind of like kick back with. I think it would be a great summer like beach read, or like read it by the pool. It was just a really fun book to kind of go through and see like how the author handled the part of the storyline of the family member with dementia, and how she very gracefully like handled that part of the story. And yeah, you could really tell that she had a thorough understanding of how that all feels, and like it was just very tastefully done. So yeah, what I've been watching is pretty much the same old General Hospital. At the end of this week, Tim says, oh my gosh, next week is going to be crazy. Lots of stuff going down in Port Charles. So if you're a fan, let me know. What do you think? Is it going to be crazy next week? Will Trent is going to have its season finale next week, so we're looking forward to that. It's looking very intense, and we're not happy with some of the plot points that they showed in the previews for next week, so they better just dial it back a little. RJ Decker has been really fun the last week or two watching that. 911, they brought in one of the characters. No, 911. They brought back some of the characters that had some friendships and relationships with Buck, and now Buck has like some things he's got to work out, and like he can never catch a break. Like, I feel sorry for the guy. 911 Nashville, things are really hitting the fan there. Grey's Anatomy brought in one of the characters from Station 19, which I missed that show. I really liked that one. but it's nice to see an old face here being brought in to graze, so that's fun. Ultimate Baking Championship, we're getting down to like the last 4, I think. Very exciting. We're very happy with like how it's all playing out and who's left in the competition. I binge watched Temptation Island. Tried to get Tim to watch it with me. He would not do it, but I really enjoyed Temptation Island. I watched His and Hers with my husband, and we really enjoyed that. Got that all finished up. So yeah, that's pretty much the nutshell of this week. In life happenings, I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better. It's been like a solid 2 weeks of feeling pretty miserable. Terrible sore throat, could hardly swallow even like chicken noodle soup, which makes eating very unpleasant. It's still a little dicey. My voice isn't still quite back to 100%. The Better Me app, I canceled my subscription because I wasn't really digging it. I felt like it was a little bit too far leaning into like the AI content. Maybe if I had like leveled up and purchased like the personal trainer, like the one-on-one stuff, I don't know, but I was not impressed with it. So yeah, I went ahead and canceled that. And then other big happenings in life this week. Today, May 2nd, is Tim's 21st birthday, so we will be spending a good portion of the weekend celebrating him and just enjoying family time. And he's super excited to now be like officially like old enough to go to the bar and order a beer. All of that, full-on grown-up stuff, like turning 18, he was so excited to be able to go and like cast his vote. It's like all of those adult milestone things he gets like very passionate about. So he's just excited that like he'll have to like present his ID so that he can be like, yes, I'm old enough now so I can do this. But yeah, he's excited. I'm super excited because when Tim was born, he had a lot of health complications, and we were taking everything like day by day and then year by year. And every year we're like, wow, we can't believe that like we made it to 10. Wow, we can't believe we made it to 16. Oh my gosh, we made it to 18. Now we're up to 21. It's like every year we count to be like a major blessing because of the struggle that we went through with his health complications and things like that. So when we get to have one more year, I mean, I'm sure every parent feels that way, like one more year with their kid is like amazing. But for me, it feels that much more intense because there were several times when we weren't sure how many more years we were going to have. So celebrating yet another milestone, like this is so kind of mind-boggling and just super exciting. So yeah. If this is your first time here, I really appreciate you stopping by and giving me a watch. If you enjoy what you see, go ahead and hit that like button. If you really enjoy it, then go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss another episode. If you are curious to find out about things that have been posted in the past, I have a couple of playlists where you can go check things out to see what you've missed. And to those of you that are returning, I really appreciate that you guys come back every week. I love to hear the comments. Again, let me know what you're reading. If you're reading anything really interesting, maybe I'll check it out and let you know what I think. So like I said, I really appreciate all the support that I get and all the friendly comments, and I hope you continue to enjoy my little program here. So have a great week.